Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Leo McCarthy. I am a Reiki Master, a psychic, and a medium, an EFT Tapping practitioner, and a shaman. Today I want to talk about boundaries and what are they, and what it looks like with a boundary is it's a separation, it's a healthy distance, and that could be physically, it could be emotionally, it could be spiritually. So when we're talking boundaries with, let's say, our environment and our physical distance, things that look like a boundary could be, in your house where you live, with your family. Like a boundary could be you being in your room and the rest of them being in the living room or kitchen, right? And like if you are having, let's say, an argument or a disagreement, or you're feeling a lot of anxiety around people in the household, a physical boundary for you would be leaving the space where everyone is. Maybe you were in the kitchen with them, maybe you were in the living room with them, and something uncomfortable got brought up, or you got anxiety about something going on between two other people in the household. A physical boundary is you leaving that room and going to your room and closing the door and creating physical space. Now, an emotional boundary could be a plus or a benefit from your physical boundary. But in another way, an emotional boundary could be also giving space emotionally, whether it is physically, but also it could be emotionally when we're talking about, either communicating with someone either on social media or email or the telephone. Um, a boundary might be like if there's someone that, you struggle being around them a lot, or you can tolerate like, maybe a couple days or just a couple hours. It could be maybe if you have someone over to visit or you go visit somewhere, maybe rather than spending the whole day, you maybe spend a couple hours, and or you schedule a couple hours so there's an expectation that it's not going to be all day. And then you just leave it at the 2 hours and not all day. Another boundary could be, talking on the phone. Maybe instead of talking to someone, like maybe it could be a parent, maybe instead of talking to them every day, maybe you talk to them like a couple times a week, just because, maybe topics of conversation that come up around talking with them may bring up some triggering things in us. And so it could be, maybe not talking every day, but, talking maybe Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Or if it's a struggle with not talking with them every day, maybe instead of talking with them every day, maybe when we do talk to them, maybe we talk to them for 20 minutes or half an hour instead of 2 hours. And maybe a half hour is too much. So maybe it's just like a check-in for 10, 15 minutes. And then you set the expectation that you've got somewhere else to be, or you've got something else to do. And, you can set that up front when you connect with them over the phone that, hey, listen, I wanted to talk to you about this, but I got to run at 9:30. So I've got like 15 minutes. So yeah, those are some examples of boundaries physically, emotionally. Um, and then the other thing is spiritual boundaries. So like if you're a spiritual person, you could be a psychic, you could be a medium. Spiritual boundaries could be, setting boundaries and intentions that, like if you're not open for business, let's say as a medium, you let the spirit realm know that when I'm working or an hour before I'm ready to work with a client, I'm open to receiving whatever you got coming through to me. But if I'm not working and I'm going to the grocery store and I'm shopping or I'm visiting family, I'm going to close that door. I'm going to turn that switch off. And I don't want to be bombarded with stuff coming in from the spirit realm. Um, and then the other thing too is you have to be firm about the boundaries. And, you know, you will do well with setting boundaries for the spiritual realm if you are good at setting boundaries in your personal life. There's a direct correlation, whether you have success with setting spiritual boundaries as to whether how good you are at setting personal boundaries. So, what I want to do also is on the next episode, I want to explore why do we have trouble setting boundaries? What is our obstacles? What's in our way? So, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, guys. And I'll see you next time.